that's enough. I am just browsing. This video's just kind of, I got nothing else going on, kind of bored. So I thought I was browsing through. I like to check out random things, and this is one of them, but I was noticing this guy here, his channel, Bill Cooper. You know, he really didn't seem too bad at first, but then he just, you know, what happens when they latch on to people and treat them like they're messiahs and leaders, you know, to be blindly trusted, is that you tend to, well, create your own blind spot on the very people you're worshiping. And but there's just a few things he said on here that I kind of want to point out, because I just find the irony, I guess. Sheeple of the world. You know, and like I said, he talks about the Illuminati. I guess it's really not much issue as long as you're doing your own research on it, but I guess this is it right here. Saving you some time again, because one of the people he's talking about in these is me, because, but anyways, save you some time again. Check the video descriptions if you want the links to the full broadcast of the short clips I upload. 2, if the full broadcasts are not provided in the description boxes, and I don't know what broadcast they are from, I always provide that information if I do. 3, shut the hell up about me exposing Jones and his sheeple. Not wasting time on exposing them, unquote. And I was one of the first people to try to say that, because I was trying to make peace with some of these people, because I really didn't want to give the wrong impression that just because I was exposing everyone, and you know, I wasn't just exposing Alex Jones, I was exposing Bill Cooper, I was exposing them all as shills or potential shills. So I tried to tell him, hey, why don't we just focus on the truth and whatever. So he's talking about me, because I quoted that. I said that to him. Not wasting time on exposing them is why others are being led astray by them. So, again, I think that's a hypocritical thing to say, because you know, people would jump down my throat when I would expose the other truthers, like Myron C. Fagan, as being a white supremacist and exposing all the occult symbolism and other stuff with the other truthers. I would get attacked by people like this as wasting time on trivial stuff. But I was doing exactly what he thinks he's doing, exposing Jones. I think sometimes, especially when I started, that many people are led astray by truthers present and from the past. We don't, you know, we think we know. I'll watch that later. We think we know it all. Just, you know, we're like that as people. We get a little bit of information, and that's why these agents who, you know, started a lot of the truth movement, that they knew that from the beginning, that if they gave us a dose of truth, our kind, people with our personality, we would latch on to that, and many of us would begin to do what a lot of these people who follow Bill Cooper, who follow Alex Jones do. We get this sense of pride that since we've been given a taste of this truth that's hidden in plain sight with the general populace, But that makes us feel so special that we begin to be blinded by the fact that, you know, the rabbit hole goes deeper than where we are, and we think we know the solutions, we think we know the whole story. When we're usually in that state of mind, we're usually very easily misled and deceived. So that was my purpose with exposing the truth movement. And I think I've done a hell of a job with that. I don't care what anybody says. Anyways, everybody knows everything in the comment sections, but your opinions are not proof of anything you're saying, but you're entitled to your opinions. Well, let's face it, the only thing you really got is your opinion with Alex Jones. I'm not here to be popular, neither am I. I don't care about your feelings, and yep, so I do real talk 24/7 about everything. Well, no you don't. You use, for the majority of the time, Bill Cooper's the one talking. There is no evidence of aliens or shape-shifting lizard people, period. And, you know, I agree, there's really no evidence of that. I'm not being nice to stupid people who want to remain stupid even when what they're talking about is proven with actual proof to be false anymore. Well, that's the problem with your Cooper disciples, is that, and I think if Bill Cooper were here, he would probably not like me too much, because I would point out all the things that he has done in the past, and if I'd probably call him. And he probably wouldn't take too much to me, and I don't care, but I think he would agree with me on this, that many of the people on this YouTube that supposedly, you know, claim to be for the truth, who basically worship this man, I think Cooper himself would get irritated with these people. As he said himself, do not even believe me, do the research. Even though he knew most of the people who would hear that would never fully 100% heed his words there. But sorry buddy, but you fit the number 10. Because I proved to you, and I've tried to prove to you, that, you know, even your guy Bill Cooper was likely not 100% real. So, and you still don't believe me. So therefore, by your own definition here, that makes you stupid. Yeah, it's just dumbass shit. But I wanted to, you've never met anybody on YouTube or in real life like me. Cooper was the real deal, realer than all your shill boyfriends, and I'll prove that too. Well, Cooper was the real deal, huh? He started off when his Behold a Pale Horse, and before then pushing the aliens thing, and saying the most extreme Looney Tunes stuff in his book Behold a Pale Horse regarding aliens, what he read anyways. He pushed it was the limo driver who shot Kennedy. Well, we know that's bullshit, especially now, since you can clearly see a version where you can see William Greer, the driver. Both of his hands are on the steering wheel. He just turned around to look at the president when his head basically opened up. But no, he pushed that. And by the way, he claimed he originally got that footage from John Lear, who was an early UFO spokesperson who admitted to working for the CIA. So yeah, and I did a number of videos showing how he was making some interesting hand signs, that maybe he was just messing around. Whatever, but we don't really know 100% if he was just a normal guy or he was just a Masonic agent. And when you looked into everything that I've looked into, it really makes you think. And by the way, Cooper said something very interesting. He said in that I think it was that CNN interview. You can watch it on YouTube, where he did say that he found out that everybody in naval intelligence were members of secret societies, and that's why the reason why he got in is because he put himself down as working for the Demolay Society. But then he says a couple minutes later that later on I found out that the only way you can get into naval intelligence is if you're a Freemason or a member of the Rose Cross, but you have to be in the highest degrees. Was he telling us in plain sight that he was a highly degreed Mason there? He said it himself. He was in naval intelligence. But he said in order to be in naval intelligence, you have to be a highly degreed Mason. And there's a one at the end of let me get yeah, it's like this one.
Bill, well, thanks for agreeing to the interview. First of all, a little bit about your...
Well, maybe in the next video I'll show that, because that's like an hour and 51 minutes. I have to comb through it. But what's the one in Michigan? Bill Cooper, 1996 lecture. You tell me. Now, people are always pointing out with other celebrities and stuff, okay? Or politicians, them doing this. Okay, that's okay if I see a politician do this and say, that must be a secret society Illuminati 666 hand sign, right? But I tried pointing this out about Bill Cooper, and I was like, this right here.
People here know who he is. I just want to read a real quick little saying that a member of the audience told me about. This is from Solzhenitsyn, and this is one of the reasons I think we're all here, and we kind of have to remind ourselves why we're doing this. He says, and how we burned in the cabin Slater thinking, what would things have been like if every security operative, when he went out at night to make an arrest, had been uncertain whether he would return alive and had to say goodbye to his family? Or if during periods of mass arrests, as for example in Leningrad, when they arrested a quarter of the entire city, people had not simply sat there in their lairs, paling with terror at every bang on the downstairs door and every step on the staircase, but had understood that they had nothing left to lose and had boldly set up in the downstairs hall an ambush of half a dozen people with axes, hammers, pokers, whatever else was on hand. After all, you knew ahead of time that those blue caps were out at night for no good purpose. But we didn't love freedom enough. That's what makes this country great. It's not diversity, it's freedom. Bill Cooper.
Bill Cooper. So he gets up and he speaks.
That way sometimes feels better, so we may choose that way and justify it by rationalization
Coming up
in order
here
to make
soon.
ourselves feel better about the bad that we did. In the mystery schools, they refer to this mystical time of coming out of the age of innocence as the Luciferian philosophy. I've tried to illuminate you with this for years on my radio broadcast. In the Bible or in the church, they talk about the fall of man. Same thing. There's only one difference between the Luciferian philosophy
Okay,
and the
see
fall.
that? Dang it. rewind a little bit and dang it.
One difference between the Lucifer.
Now, observe that hand there where he's showing that okay sign, whatever. And you will kind of see that he's keeping it there.
Philosophy in the fall of man.
See, he's still got his finger
Is
in
that
his
those who talk about the fall of man believe in God, whether or not they believe.
Okay, now that might have not been anything. Maybe some people just do this. Just the contact, given the context, he was like between those who believe in the Luciferian philosophy, and then he kind of holds it there. It's almost like, yeah, it is kind of flashing a hand sign. And there's more. I mean, if you look at this lecture, if you studied Masonic symbols as hand signs, somebody showed a video where he's given quite a number of them on here. But there's another interesting one at the end here.
The ones who believe in the Luciferian philosophy do not.
Okay, it's right here. Pay very close attention. Shakes his hand, it looks very interesting. It looks like an interesting kind of Masonic one. Maybe I'll just slow-mo it. Now observe very carefully. Notice where the thumb is on the knuckle. Right there. Now, again, that might have just been, they just shook their hands quick and that's where their hands landed. All this could be considered by the person who doesn't want to believe that they're being misled by somebody like, on this deep level, somebody like Bill Cooper. They can just pass it off as just overlooking things. Fine. I don't know, I just find it way too much. There's another one where he's giving a lecture on heck, I can I think it'd be easier if I went on my channel. Where am I at? 18 minutes? Okay. Might have to go on my channel, I don't know. Right here. Oh yeah, and this is...
We often profit more by our enemies than by our friends.
That's a true, when I read that, it really shot a lot, light bulb went off in my head, because that explains their controlled opposition. They profit more by all these controlled opposition people. Because I think that these guys do a really good job of making us look, of discrediting us. Now you can check this video out. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so we're right here.
He's talking about Satan.
Right here.
He has like this weird hypnotic... Weird. Yeah, I never really watched this one before, but around... See that? He began in 1954.
Yeah, if you look at that, he kept it there for a little bit.
The air time when he was promoting the UFOs. This is part 2 of this speech, and it's at 1438. But watch his hand right there. This is very interesting. Now, granted, people sometimes accidentally make hand gestures without realizing it. I've done it. Everyone else has done it. But the way he does this is just very interesting. It tells me that this is not accident.
President Eisenhower formed this secret group in 1954. He was the last president who knew everything.
See, he holds that horn sign and
See that? You can see it.
right there. So I don't know. It's funny. I'm supposed to turn a blind eye to that and other examples. But if Jordan Maxwell does it, or if Alex Jones does it, we have to jump on that and say that, oh, he's giving a secret society, hand gestures. Okay, well, I kind of catch them all doing it. I'm sorry, this is truth is painful. So, I don't think that Bill Cooper is 100% the real deal. I don't, sorry. And if you think that, this is talking to the Bill Cooper channel, I guess, it's a waste of time trying to argue with him in the comments section, which I've done quite a bit. Yeah, he may think that he has the advantage because he's got the information from Bill Cooper, or that's his research. He says that he's exposing Alex Jones because he don't want people misled into the slaughter by him. Well, that could be with Bill Cooper, even though he's gone. His information. I've done a couple videos showing that there's a branch of the Brotherhood that is totally against liberalism. They're for fascism. And if you look at the history of the Nazis, they had Aryan race supremacy mixed in with, even though it was a form of socialism. I don't know. It's a very complicated situation with that. But I mean, he was more into fascism. He did lock up communists. And at least he said he was against Marxism. Hitler, and he put Freemasons in concentration camps. He talked about a Freemasonic Jewish conspiracy. You can make what you want out of that. I'm just saying that just because somebody is speaking out against globalism doesn't mean that they're your best friend. It doesn't mean that they should be trusted. All these truthers could have just been propagandists for this coming fascist revolution that might be coming, or it might be going the way that with the cultural Marxism and everything. I understand that, but this cultural Marxism that's being shoved down our throats might actually be the catalyst to bring in a revolution from the far right, and this might have been the propaganda to help inflame that. Maybe. Just maybe. Think about it. And Myron Fagan shared the same similar Aryan supremacy as Hitler did. It was a normal thing back in the Patriot movement of back in the, way back in the day. Around the time that I read that book from Myron Fagan, the 60s, that this is the white man's country, white man's America, and any attempt to make it not white man's America is a communist conspiracy. I'm just saying that if you replaced America with Germany, it would have sounded like similar to Hitler. So just, you might be being led astray there, guy. So I think I'll give that break for now. I watched this very interesting documentary on Netflix called the Sons of Sam.
Run from me, darling.
A killer on the loose in New York for a year and 3 days is David Berkowitz, the man police believe to be the son of Sam.
You better run for your life.
They totally ignored the true story of this case.
Once they named Berkowitz, it was like, hallelujah, we got our bad guy. Everybody can walk the streets again.
The city of New York can rest easy.
There were real questions in this case.
Why do the police not investigate more? The sketches don't add up. You're not going to mistake Berkowitz for being 6 feet tall and blonde. You got suspects dying accidentally. There were 8 attacks. Did you do all of them?
I did not pull the trigger at every single one of them.
The worst serial killer in New York City didn't do it on his own. This is freaking huge.
Son of Sam is not over. Son of Sam still exists.
Berkowitz is claiming members of a satanic cult helped in the murders of 6 people.
I could feel a force pulling me into the darkness.
This group is all over the country. They're devoted to bringing on the end of the world.
Is there a link between the Manson killings and the Son of Sam killings?
Maury wanted the truth to come out, but nobody would listen.
This case went off the rails a little bit.
People are scared that this is still happening. Berkowitz in prison. Who's still out there? You better run for your life.
I actually thought that was a pretty good documentary. It's based on the work of Maury Terry. I have Maury Terry's book, The Ultimate Evil. You know, he follows this trail that leads to that Berkowitz was connected to this satanic cult called the Children that was connected to the Process Church of Final Judgment. And I'll give you a little bit into if you've heard of it. I didn't know this. I guess I didn't research it enough, but there's all kinds of crazy stuff here. So this chant. Okay, let's see if this is this. Yeah, that's a guy named Robert D. Crimson there.
Humanity is the devil. In the beginning was God, and God breathed upon the vast and empty space of the
I like the
universe,
comment section.
and God created humanity.
This is some
And
next level
humanity could choose
gaslighting.
whether to remain subject to the will of
Yeah,
its
it's a pretty
creator.
radical cult. The Robert D. Crimson and his wife, whatever, they were members of Scientology. We know how Illuminati Scientology is. And our Illuminati 666 book talked a little bit about the Process Church, Charles Manson's involvement and its connections to the OTO. But humanity is the devil. Let's listen to this crazy ranting.
Or to set out upon the path of destiny by the power of its own free will. And humanity chose free will. Humanity chose to guide its own path through the annals of time. And God gave humanity a light by which to steer. God gave it the knowledge of right and wrong, that it might follow a path that would lead it back to the truth from which it had set out. He gave it the concept of good and the concept of evil, and he said, "Follow in your heart the concept of good. For that is of me, and the path that follows it will lead you back to me, and you will find yourself in heaven. But follow in your heart the concept of evil, and you will go further and further from me."
For though I have created evil for your choice, evil is not of me, it is of Satan, who is the devil, and must for you be the enemy, so that yon do not follow him. For the path of evil will lead you to the devil, and yon will find yourself in hell. And hell is a place of darkness and misery and pain and anguish and hatred and violence and discomfort and unrest and unease and sickness and failure and death and futility and ignorance and malice and greed and envy and despair. And hell is a place where no man should wish to be. And humanity set off upon its journey through the annals of time, and the path of good and the path of evil lay before it. And the path of good was harsh and thorny, steep and narrow, and promised great sacrifice, but it led to the light of heaven. And the path of evil was soft and comfortable, gentle and easy, and promised great self-indulgence, but it led to the darkness of hell. And humanity felt the conflicts of good and evil, discomfort now with the promise of joy to come on one side, and pleasure now with the promise of agony to come on the other. And humanity found that choice was not the easy sense of power which it had imagined, but a gnawing sense of doubt and uncertainty. For the power to choose is the burden of responsibility. There cannot be one without the other. Humanity had sought the power. Now it was saddled with the burden. But choice it had demanded, and now choose it must. To make no choice is to take the easy way, and leads to hell. To pretend there is no choice to be made is to take the easy way, and leads to hell. To accept the burden of responsibility and shoulder it, is to take the hard way, and leads to heaven. It is the beginning of the road that leads back to God. Humanity chose the road to hell. Humanity rejected the burden of responsibility that came with the power of choice. Each man put the burden onto another. Each man claimed that another made his life for him. Each man saw himself the victim of his circumstances. Each man.
Anyways, yeah, you can listen to that if you want. To me, that's just so crazy and so out there and just goes on. And yeah, I get it. But wait, before I go on here, humanity is the devil. I'm sorry, but maybe this is nothing. But I remember Cooper suggesting that something similar.
And man eventually came to recognize the sun as the representation of the power and the ability of the hidden God of the universe, the invisible God of the universe, the all-powerful creator of everything. What man has gained is intellectual ability, began to look toward himself, toward the intellect as that God, and the sun, the representation of what used to be the invisible God of the universe, then became the representation of the intellect, the light, Lucifer. And man began to worship the Luciferian philosophy. He believed, these people who call themselves the guardians of the secrets of the ages, and still believe that man was held prisoner in the Garden of Eden by an unjust, vindictive, and very cruel God, the God of the Bible, and that he was set free from the bonds of ignorance to the gift of intellect given to him by Lucifer through his agent Satan. Now, many people believe that Lucifer and Satan are the same individual entity, and they may be. I don't know the answer to that. I just know what the mystery schools believe, and I know what I personally believe, and what I personally believe doesn't have any bearing on anything. Knowledge, the truth, is what counts, and that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of here. Now, eventually, this philosophy of worshiping the intellect, or wisdom, or the mind, became known as Gnosticism. Life is a continuous confrontation with forks in the road. One is good, one is bad. And you can always wander completely off the road altogether and become lost.
Bear with me here, and like I said, not everything he says, I'm not disagreeing with everything that he's saying here, okay? He says something within this time here, I think this whole 15 minutes here, but he says something to the, like, Satan is not out there, but he's within man. And if you want to get rid of Satan, you have to get rid of man.
Concept for many, many years. And I have to tell you that if there is a real devil, like Flip Wilson used to say, the devil made me do it. I'm not telling you that there's no such thing as Satan or Lucifer. I'm telling you this. If there really is a devil, that devil exists in the hearts and minds of men and nowhere else. Nowhere else. For if you take man out of the equation, evil ceases to exist.
I don't agree with that. You take man out, this world is still, to me, pretty evil. You go out in the jungle, where there's not many people, far out there, and nature is pretty cruel. The spider eating the fly. It's nature, but the world in nature, with or without us, is pretty evil, pretty cold. Big fish eat little fish. The strong overcome the weak. So I don't agree with that.
And there is left only the laws of the universe and the balance of nature.
And
put man in the equation, and before long, evil will rear its ugly head and present itself to the world. The evil is within man, and that is why it was called the fall. The devil never made anyone do it. If you do it, you did it yourself because you fell into temptation. Isn't it amazing? The greater understanding of an awful lot. Your own sheepfulness. For until man once again confronts the real nature of his own condition and of the world around him.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know there really is a Satan, a Lucifer, but he's not out there running around in the woods somewhere, and he doesn't sit up there on some planet looking down at us, and he doesn't fly around in the air. He's real. And I can tell you where he can be found all the time, every day. You see, you take human beings out of the picture, there is no Satan, there is no Lucifer, there is no evil.
you see right there, if you really summarize that and not complicate it, he really, Satan, well, without humanity there is no Satan, so ergo humanity, you could say that what he's basically saying is humanity is the devil.
They're just the perfect machinations and workings of nature. The natural laws prevail.
Which is evil.
But you put one human being in the picture, and he will bring Satan with him. Put one woman in the picture, she will bring Satan with her. For Satan exists in the human heart and in nowhere else. That's where you will find him all the time, every time. If you want to get rid of Satan, you have to get rid of humanity.
Found that very interesting he said that. That was kind of similar to what the Process Church is teachings, even though it might not, I'm not saying that he was a member, I'm just saying maybe he was reading too much into the mystery schools, and on a subconscious level, maybe he brainwashed himself into thinking how they think. But, if you get rid of humanity, if you just look at it and the laws of nature prevail, those laws of nature, in many ways, not saying it's all bad, but it's very brutal, very savage, and there's no mercy, it's just the way of the world, in general, with or without us. So by saying that humanity is the only reason why there's evil in this world, or in order to get rid of the devil, you have to get rid of humanity, which I find interesting he said that, is completely not true and might be considered dangerous teaching. I don't know. But if you want to Genesis P. Orridge, yeah, the William Ramsey channel does a good. And Damien Eccles and Genesis P. Orridge of the process. I want to see lies on Damien Eccles. Huh. There used to be a whole video on exposing some of the process. Genesis P. Orridge was a part of the modern process church, whatever. Okay, so yep, there's some of the process right there, and here's a decent video here. Guess I don't want to. Of course, all this work is attributed to William Ramsey. I'm not. Yeah, there's Damien Eccles there with Genesis P. Orridge, member of the process. Let's play a minute of this, I guess. I don't want to. They work together on an independent film. Right there, and they're all wearing Charles Manson shirts. Charles Manson was a part of the process. But I don't want to play, you know, his whole video at, you know, but check it out. He's got some good ones exposing Damien Eccles. He did a really good job with all this. Talks more about the process church. Yeah, so he's kind of the expert in all that. Here's Charles Manson on the process. If I can find it. Of course, yeah, oh yeah, this is a new process. This must be, yeah, this is like the new process. This is the website I wanted to, or sorry, not the website, but the new channel, or whatever, but you take a look at this sick shit they have for their art. Yeah, for somebody to not, to look at this as art, something wrong with them. That's just sick. I think that's supposed to be Charles Manson or something. Double bats and yeah, it's just fucking sick as shit. Isn't that nice? So you can see that. There's talked about Kenneth Anger and his Lucifer Rising. Kenneth Anger, connection with Aleister Crowley and just all this twisted shit. Yeah, I don't want to look at it anymore with this video, it's sickening. Check this out, yeah. But take a look at this vegetarian festival back in 2008. I mean, these people are just almost like they're just completely out of their freaking heads. Yeah, that one guy who's cutting the fuck out of his tongue.
Never, I have no existence, nor you, nor this case. And never in the
God
future
damn.
shall exist to exist.
That is twisted. Looks like freaking Hellraiser shit.
When these skeletons torment the man, when suffering and joy are equal for him, and he has courage, he is fit for immortality. Nothing of no becomes to be, not as being cease to exist. The boundary between these two is deep by path to see reality.
that too. But yeah, oh, you read that book too. So yeah, anyways, yeah, I'd say it's about safe to put it up, but yep, I was just bored, just wanted to share some things, and well, I don't really have much else to share. I'm trying to think. Maybe I'll think of something with my next video. I know I'll be, don't go away from me. I know I'll be reading, I want to read this book, Humanist Manifesto 2000, by Prometheus Books. It's all about New World Order stuff. It's more documented proof of the New World Order. And nothing else really going on other than that, until next time. Yeah, I know, sad to let me go, but I'm gonna let you go, and have a good night. Take care. Keep up